I can't wait to see, is his winter bulk going to be worse off than last time?
As ridiculous as this looks, this had become my reality. Now I know there are many out there who can relate. Literally 2+ different screens, listening, watching topics of different categories, believing that I was soaking up so much information, knowledge, and entertainment. But in reality, rather than learning anything truly new, I was merely pumping boatloads of surface level spam to that meat sack inside my head, starting to experience insane levels of information FOMO. I literally couldn't go 20 minutes without picking up my phone and winding up in a doom scroll. It was getting bad and it had to stop. So I came up with a 6-step plan, but you gotta focus. So my 6-step plan to start this dopamine detox. Number 1, limit phone to important texts and phone calls only. No doom scrolling, no news. Number 2, use my computer to check emails and work, but only in the morning and afternoon, not right before bed. Number 3, 1 week break from my typical music. I've been finding myself just like rewinding to my favorite part of the song and like letting that play over and over and over again. I feel nothing anymore. Number 4, limit my coffee consumption and sugar consumption as well. Number 5, I'm gonna try to read actual books or something paper. And then finally, the 6th step is I'm going to try to go outside for at least 1 hour every single day. This sounds totally colonial, if that's the right word, but that's what we're gonna do for the next week. And hopefully when I put my music back on, things are sounding good and just I'm feeling again. Okay, so we gotta do something now. Or nothing, or I don't know. Alright. Now, typically the term detox refers to removing toxins, and dopamine isn't necessarily a toxin. Rather, it's a type of neurotransmitter naturally produced in our bodies, which acts on areas of the brain to give you feelings of pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. This release of dopamine acts like a reward system, making us feel good, encouraging us to go back for more. The problem and how this relates to this experiment is that when the activity that releases this dopamine becomes unnaturally too easy, we may then fall into a pattern where we put aside everything else that naturally stimulated the dopamine on a more gradual level and become addicted to this unnatural activity, which there are many. But mostly in my case, it revolved around an internet addiction through the easy access of many screens. Not even 20 minutes into my 6-step plan and I was already feeling subnormal and itch to just scroll the screen. But I did my best to stay dedicated, trying to distract this itch with chore-like activities instead. That only lasted so long, I had to act fast. So I took it outside to get started on my 1 hour of nature time a day. Yo, so it is gray out here. Usually when I have come out here in the past for those like challenges and stuff, even when I did the nature workout, I was still listening to music and it just gave a totally different vibe. But when it's just like silence, so yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do out here for a whole hour, but I'm just gonna like walk around, I guess. Time passing so slow, bored out of my mind, and colors not appearing as saturated as I thought they used to. These shoes are so bright relative to everything else. Like everything else is not as saturated as that. At least it doesn't appear that way. Was it perhaps the change of season with the abysmal weather? Or did I really dive myself too deep down the dopamine sucking spiral of doom scrolling social media over the past month? After grinding through this 1 hour of outdoor time, I made myself a simple meal while not listening to any podcast or watching something on the TV. Then I ate that meal, just focusing on eating the meal, not watching my phone, TV, or once again listening to any podcast. Anyways, typically right now, after taking a shower, winding the day down, I would probably be browsing YouTube, looking for just some kind of stimulation. So instead, I am just gonna kind of just take a rest here for a minute, maybe just kind of let myself rest. And that was pretty much the rest of my day. Super tired feeling and lethargic, I couldn't help but wonder, was this a dopamine crash? But I am happy I powered through this first day, because by day 2, I was already starting to experience the benefits of fasting from this information overload. Not having my phone next to me on my desk, but putting it over there behind me, I was so much more productive today. I have literally been going for several hours straight with no distractions, and I still feel fresh right now. I guess it should be obvious, but like I know for a fact that if I would have had my phone right here, I would have not gotten this much done. Craziest thing just happened. It's actually not gonna sound that crazy, but it felt crazy, let's just put it that way. I was in the shower and just kind of like zoning out when all of a sudden I felt like just a bunch of creative ideas come to my mind, and I felt like this almost like euphoria. I have not felt that way in quite a long time, and like I have all these like new ideas that I feel like are just coming to my head. I can't help but think that's due to just setting the phone down, because that feeling that I felt in the shower is something that I feel like I would be chasing by going to my phone. As sad as that sounds. Day 2 can be categorized as an increase in productivity, not being distracted by my phone while working, and a spontaneous influx of creative ideas paired with a subtle, natural euphoria. A feeling I haven't felt naturally in what seemed like years. Could this really be from phone and social media fasting for just a little bit over 24 hours? Maybe. Anyways, the first 2 days of this experiment, I actually took a break from working out, and today I'm actually feeling body-wise phenomenal. Like, I feel fully recovered, and I think some of that has to stem from the mental recovery too, taking a break from all this stuff. Now, however, I have actually decided I am going to listen to music during this workout, because it's not going to be the typical music that I have been listening to. No. What I'm doing here is I'm browsing some classical music, and I'm looking for like a couple songs or whatever they're called in classical music to find to download. And you can actually download some of these in the YouTube Studio library for free, copyright free, because they're so old. I'm gonna do that, put them on my iPod Shuffle right here, no screen on this thing, and use this for me workout today. Jokes aside, there is actually something referred to as the Mozart effect, where found in some studies listening to classical music can actually improve spatial reasoning. Regardless, classical music was on a much more calmer wavelength than the typical bangers I would try to listen to. Now, already having fasted for over 48 hours from music and from other forms of overstimulating my dopamine, this symphony of orchestra was actually sounding really good. Okay. Getting this positive stimulation out of what I would have considered in the recent past as boring music was promising that this information overload fast might be working. Also, I must mention, on this day was the day that I got the part and fixed my computer. A feat that I don't think would have felt as sweet if I would have been information overloading. But then I messed up, man. So today actually started off pretty darn good. Got a lot of work done, very productive, and then I picked up my phone. And like I didn't even think, like there was no thought. I just like clicked it. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this, 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 I shouldn't be doing this. 30 minutes vaporized, completely vaporized, like just gone. Oh man, dude, wow though, like wow, I'm just gonna be real, like wow, like it was like just like tunnel vision. So what can you do? I'm just gonna have to start right now. I'm putting my phone down, I'm putting it down, I'm putting it away, salvage what I got, start fresh right here. Hopefully don't do that again. Yo, crazy, filming that silly reenactment for B-roll almost sucked me back in too. Like, bro, come on. Believing I had stronger willpower than this, and super surprised at the intensity of the unfortunate experience I just had, this slip-up made me rethink the entire premise of this challenge. What good would 7 days of this information fast be if at the very end I would just slip back into my old ways? It would be like expecting a 1-week crash diet to be a long-term solution. And rather than like, oh, the phone and all this technology is just sucking me in and it's so addictive and blah blah blah, I can't stop. Yeah, it's that, but it's also another way to think about it is without it, I'm just bored. Should I go whittle something out of wood? That's like what I'm literally contemplating about doing right now. Trying to get back on track after the slip up, I was quickly reintroduced to an issue I had early in this experiment. Boredom. I realized that at least for me, this access to this fast-paced information caused me to be unsatisfied with reality. Things just moved too slow and you had to work too hard to get a fraction of the same amount of stimulation you could get by just going on a screen to the internet in a few seconds. I mean, it was going to be way too easy to fall back into my old habits after this experiment. So in an effort to hopefully not relapse and come up with a new routine during this experiment and one that I could take with me afterwards, I explored some classical means of more mild, gradual stimulation that I could hopefully replace boredom with. Reading an actual book, reading a magazine, actually drawing on real paper, and cleaning and organizing. Now this time, upon exploring and re-exploring these activities, I noticed two things. One, these were actually satisfying. You just had to work for it. And then these activities encouraged much more single tasking. And with that, I noticed some great therapeutic effects. So just focusing on all of these single tasks like cleaning, and now I'm cooking, and I'm not like listening to anything, watching anything, or trying to do like multiple things at once. It sounds so simple, but I've just really been able to like just dive into a task, and I feel like my imagination is just running wild. Like I'm getting all these new like creative ideas and thoughts that are just, they seem so much more organic, not like spoken to me or told to me through like the TV or my phone or something like that, and then I'm thinking about that, but rather like I feel like I'm coming up with my own unique ideas and thoughts. Very similar to how it felt on that like second day, but this time it's just feeling like so much more flow. This is like a refreshment that I needed. So apparently we sometimes think we can multitask effectively, and that's a huge selling point for using all this technology. When in reality, apparently for most of us, true multitasking is severely difficult, if not impossible. What really is apparently going on is we're just switching between multiple single tasks rapidly, leading us not able to hold a focus on one particular task, which usually compiles to a subpar job. When I forced myself to do these single tasks, not only did I feel like I was doing a more thorough job, I also felt like there was this room in my mind that was open for all of these new creative organic ideas to form, something I haven't felt in years. Feeling the benefits of more gradual satisfaction or delayed gratification, along with this new mental clarity, I was determined and powered through this information fast the last couple of days. But what would my plan be going forward? How would I maintain this state while hopefully reintroducing the benefits of technology? 1 week of this information overload fast is over. Yes, there were some bumps along the way. However, I do feel so much more fresh, clear, and just balanced right now. Now you might be wondering like, bro, how did this even happen in the first place? The last time you probably saw me in a video about the mind and stuff like that, I was like stacking biohacks and things were just looking better, better, and better. Well, this whole entire internet doom hole that I ended up finding myself in these last couple of weeks happened quite recently. It was around the holidays where I was kind of going into more of a relaxed state, and I wanted to like fill some time going on my phone, browsing the internet basically. You know, it started out with like a few simple questions I was researching that led to some videos, that led to some more videos. Before you know it, I'm like off topic, I'm like down comment rabbit holes, and I'm just browsing all over the place. And each and every day it happened, it just got like worse and worse and worse. And within a week, it was like I couldn't get away from the internet without like feeling just anxious almost. Like I needed to get back to it to just feel like good again. So this was never really a chronic problem with me. It just really came on quick and like was sticking. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because I've gone on a few doom scrolls like in the past and whatnot, but like this time it was just all-consuming and ever addicting. I'm not exactly certain why this recent spurt was like so much worse than it ever has been, but I have been thinking a lot about it and kind of like analyzing everything, and I think it boils down to just like one simple thing, and that is filling boredom. So this one grand point of me just not being okay doing nothing or needing to fill in boredom, I think a lot of people can relate to, and I think it's gotten more and more of a big problem. I just feel like we have gotten really so spoiled over the last decade or so with everything, and it's just like these things that may have in the past made us feel like, wow, this is amazing, I got access to this. We're now just like taking it for granted, and we're just moving on to the next thing so rapidly because we just can't sit still. We need to fill spaces of boredom. It's like our nature now. It's like what we've become. Now this might sound a little over dramatic. I am thinking out loud here, but I think the big takeaway point here, the solution to this, at least for me, is reversing that mindset and being okay with being bored, or being okay with doing nothing, at least for a little bit. Obviously you're not just gonna be like nothing, but you know what I'm saying, just like a single task on just relaxing. So maybe what I really mean by being okay with doing nothing is being okay with doing true single tasks. That is how I am going to try to approach things from now on. Hopefully that fix is simple enough to stick with everything and correct everything. As for that, I will try to continue to be disciplined with the 6-step plan, but of course I am going to go back to using technology for some things that I have fasted from this experiment, because in my opinion, with all the downfalls that I have mentioned in this video, technology also comes with a whole bunch of benefits, and there are a ton of useful things you can do with technology. It's just the balance we lack due to that addictive nature we have because of that unnatural dopamine stimulation we can get from that technology. Wow. At least that's what I've come to conclusion based on the research, in my opinion, how I feel, etc. With that being said, let me know if you've ever done an information overload fast yourself, what you did, how you felt. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Stay tuned. More videos coming out. Peace. I will see you all